The title is 3 months of Los Angeles County DCFS data, and the numbers do not tell the whole story. Hello, my name is Morris Patrick. I have been fighting for my children and for accountability in the child welfare system since 2017, and I am still fighting today in 2026. My parental rights were terminated in 2019. My concerns involve both San Bernardino County and Los Angeles County and what happened to my family before, during, and after the termination of my parental rights. That is 9 years of fighting. Recently, I saw a message from Los Angeles County DCFS on Facebook about its data. When I saw that message, it caught my attention and led me to investigate further. Instead of simply reading the Facebook post and moving on, I went directly to the Los Angeles County DCFS website and began reviewing the department's own official data and monthly fact sheets. That investigation led me to examine 3 recent months of official Los Angeles County DCFS data: May, June, and July 2026. I also looked at how DCFS presents its historical information. The current DCFS webpage separately lists monthly fact sheets beginning in 2022 and also provides a link to archived fact sheets for 2021 and prior years. Therefore, it would not be accurate to say that DCFS data itself began in 2022. That distinction matters to me because my fight began in 2017, years before the current monthly listings beginning in 2022. The historical records and archived data matter too when we are trying to understand what happened to children and families during those earlier years. The May 2026 report. According to the official May 2026 DCFS monthly fact sheet, DCFS reported 5,137 referrals involving 9,563 referred children. Of those referred children, 6,641 received an in-person response and 2,922 were evaluated out. DCFS reported 17,961 children receiving child welfare services as of May 2026. This included 5,758 children in family maintenance, 4,124 children in family reunification, 5,438 children in permanent placement, and 2,097 children in supportive transition. DCFS also reported 9,484 children in out-of-home placement. The June 2026 report. According to the official June 2026 DCFS monthly fact sheet, DCFS reported 3,838 referrals involving 7,093 referred children. Of those referred children, 4,971 received an in-person response, and 2,122 were evaluated out. DCFS reported 17,873 children receiving child welfare services as of June 2026. This included 5,701 children in family maintenance, 4,139 children in family reunification, 5,360 children in permanent placement, and 2,097 children in supportive transition. DCFS also reported 9,445 children in out-of-home placement. The July 2026 report. According to the official July 2026 DCFS monthly fact sheet, DCFS reported 3,793 referrals involving 6,939 referred children. Of those referred children, 4,983 received an in-person response, and 1,956 were evaluated out. DCFS reported 17,869 children receiving child welfare services as of July 2026. This included 5,783 children in family maintenance, 4,248 children in family reunification, 5,270 children in permanent placement, and 2,083 children in supportive transition. DCFS also reported 9,403 children in out-of-home placement. What do these 3 months show? May recorded 9,563 referred children. June recorded 7,093 referred children. July recorded 6,939 referred children. Together, those monthly figures equal 23,595 referred child instances during these 3 reporting periods. We have to be accurate about what that number means. It should not be described as 23,595 unique children because these are separate monthly reports, and these fact sheets do not establish that every child counted in one month was different from every child counted in another month. The same caution applies to the overall caseload. We should not add the May, June, and July caseloads together and claim that they represent more than 53,000 different children. These are monthly caseload snapshots. What the reports actually show is that approximately 17,900 children were receiving Los Angeles County Child Welfare Services at each of these 3 monthly reporting points. That alone should make the public pay attention to the enormous responsibility placed on a child welfare agency. What do the allegation numbers actually tell us? This is where I believe the public needs much more information. In May 2026, DCFS reported general neglect at 29.1%, physical abuse at 18.8%, emotional abuse at 17.8%, at-risk sibling abuse at 22%, sexual abuse at 9.2%, and severe neglect at 1.6%. In June 2026, DCFS reported general neglect at 30.3%, physical abuse at 16.3%, emotional abuse at 20.8%, at-risk sibling abuse at 18.8%, sexual abuse at 10%, and severe neglect at 1.9%. In July 2026, DCFS reported general neglect at 30.9%, physical abuse at 16.2%, emotional abuse at 21.4%, at-risk sibling abuse at 16.8%, sexual abuse at 9.5%, and severe neglect at 2.4%. General neglect was the largest allegation category in all 3 months. But percentages and allegation categories do not tell the whole story. These monthly fact sheets tell us how DCFS categorized referred children by allegation type. They do not provide the underlying case-specific evidence showing whether abuse or neglect was ultimately established in each individual case. That is an important distinction. An allegation is not automatically proof that abuse or neglect occurred. A referral is not the same thing as a final factual determination. A statistical category cannot tell us everything investigators discovered, what evidence supported or contradicted an allegation, what happened in court, or what ultimately happened to a family. This is why I believe these reports are not enough. If the public is going to evaluate the performance of a government agency with the power to intervene in families' lives, we need more meaningful aggregate transparency while still protecting children's and families' confidential information. We need to understand the outcomes behind these numbers. How many allegations were substantiated? How many were not substantiated? How many investigations resulted in children being removed? How many children safely remained at home? How many children returned home after removal? How many parents completed reunification requirements? How long did children remain outside their homes? Those kinds of outcomes help the public understand what happened after the initial referral. My own experience is one reason this matters so much to me. I began fighting in 2017. My parental rights were terminated in 2019. I am still fighting in 2026. The statistics in these 2026 reports do not prove what happened in my individual case, and I am not claiming that they do. What happened in my case must be evaluated through the actual records, evidence, investigations, testimony, agency documentation, and court proceedings. But these current reports show how many children and families continue to interact with the Los Angeles County Child Welfare System. That is why I believe the public should demand transparency and accountability, not simply accept numbers without asking what happened behind those numbers. These are not simply statistics. They represent children, parents, and families whose lives can be permanently affected by government decisions. I have been fighting since 2017 because I believe what happened in the past still matters today. A family does not simply forget what happened because years have passed. Losing parental rights does not erase the questions about how government decisions were made or whether the evidence and procedures behind those decisions were reliable. The Facebook message from Los Angeles County DCFS led me to investigate its own data. After looking at these reports, I believe the public needs to look deeper too. Questions we need to ask. How many allegations categorized as neglect or abuse were ultimately substantiated by evidence? How many allegations were determined not to be substantiated? How many children were removed from their parents following these referrals, and what were the outcomes of those cases? How many children remained safely with their biological parents without being removed? How many children who were removed eventually reunified with their parents? How many parents completed court-ordered reunification services but nevertheless did not reunify with their children? How long did children remain in out-of-home placement before reunification, guardianship, adoption, or another permanent outcome? What evidence and investigative procedures are used to determine whether allegations of general neglect, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, severe neglect, or other allegations are substantiated? What aggregate information can DCFS provide about the outcomes of general neglect allegations, which represented approximately 29% to 31% of referred children during these 3 months? How does DCFS measure whether its investigations and interventions actually improve children's safety and family stability? What do the archived records and historical data show about children and families involved with Los Angeles County DCFS during 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021? How can the public fully evaluate the child welfare system when monthly reports provide allegation categories and caseload numbers, but do not provide the underlying case-specific evidence or final outcome behind each individual allegation?